So welcome to the Show Up Better podcast. I'm Arminda.
And I'm Elatia.
We haven't figured out which direction the camera goes, so I think I'll just point like this. But we're really happy to be here.
Very Scarecrow Wizard of Oz. I love it.
Exactly what I'm thinking. So thanks for being here with us, and we just want to laugh for a few minutes. We do this all the time together, so if you want to play along and listen in, great. Welcome. So
go on.
Yeah. So we had this conversation going. We thought we'd just click record so we could keep it going for you as well. But we were talking about singing out loud in public places. And who does that besides the two of us?
Both hands up.
Who sings out loud? And so, Elatia, the question is, when you're driving in a car and you're singing as you do, and you get to a stoplight or a stop sign, and there's a car next to you, what do?
I keep singing. I do.
Yeah, I do too. But the majority of people, what's your wager? Do they stop singing or do they keep singing?
My wager is that it goes into like the fake out, right? Everybody stops singing, and then, if they're mid dance and they try and make it look like they were just running their fingers through their hair or
combing that hair,
just on the phone or something like that.
Yeah.
Or they pull up kind of behind the person next to them so they can't see them directly.
Oh yeah, so you kind of like edge up, but you're not all the way full, so somebody can't just immediately look over and see that you're there. Yeah, I love that. Now, I'd like to make a statement and qualify that we have absolutely no scientific data to back this up, but I think that we're completely correct that this happens.
Clearly, study brought by us.
All seen it. Yeah. Like we've done this broad, expansive study of car drivers next to us, and we've noticed. Because I think people think the proverbial we, the people think that other people are even paying attention. That's the first thing. We think that other people care.
Yes, we think that other people care. And then we're worried about what they're going to think about us. And so,
as if like they don't even know us.
They don't even know us.
You don't even know me.
Right. So what does it matter in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
And second of all, we let that squash our dance party.
Yeah.
Total bummer.
No squash dance parties allowed. Like, why would you let somebody squash your dance party? But we do it all the time. All the time, whether it's in the car or whether it's like, at the supermarket, because I do it there too.
Yeah. and not just the literal, and not just like the literal dance party, but the figurative one as well. When we are out in the world creating amazing, fun, wonderful things, oftentimes we will stop because we're afraid of what other people think of us, or we won't allow our work to go public because we're afraid of what people might think, even though the world may really be needing it. It's insane.
Well, and I want to say that the world does need it. It's not a question of whether the world needs it. It's a question of why are you holding you back from the world? The world wants more dance parties. I think the world doesn't have enough of that. The world has enough seriousness. The world has enough sorrow. The world has enough heartache. And yet we still pull up to our lives just a little bit behind the driver next to us because we're still afraid that what we bring into that arena isn't valuable. And that's really, to me, that's the tragedy.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And, what would happen if we shared a little bit more about who we are and what we're creating in the world? What would happen if instead of shutting down what we really want to create, or that invention that you've been working on for the last little while, or the art that you want to create, and it doesn't even need to be something that's literally, music, painting, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But whatever it is that you're excited about, gosh, if you are feeling great about creating it, isn't there someone else out there who will as well?
Yeah. That reminds me, I was just, I've been reading a bit recently of Seth Godin. I love him. I've read most of everything that he's written, and I was reading or listening to him. I like him on audio. And I was listening to his book, Linchpin,
Ooh,
this morning. Oh, I
okay.
highly recommend that one. It's really great. And in it, he talks about how like the world just keeps churning out people who fit into a system, into a system, into a system, into this factory system. And but what the world really needs are artists. And however you define yourself as an artist, we each are artists. We each are creators of whatever it is that we have to bring to show up to that dance party, our own moves, if you will, right? Our own tune that we carry. And it's not based on anybody else's tune. It's not based on anybody else's music. And I don't mean to keep speaking in metaphor here, except to say that, like, to me, that's really significant. I think we each could look around us and see, or have experienced, or have personally been that person who was just part of the factory, part of the broader university, playing by all the rules, doing what they were told, not ever inventing or innovating something for themselves, because this is just the way it's done. It's always been done this way. That's the way it will always be done. And if you deviate from that, somehow that makes you bad, different, wrong, weird. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And not only does the world need it because it's a nice thing, I think the world needs it because the economy, as we've understood it in the past and working well within that system, just doesn't work anymore. There is no longer the consistency or the illusion of consistency that existed prior to now. And that change is only going to accelerate faster, faster and faster. And so not only is it a wonderful thing to have, it's almost now becoming a necessity, because that same system doesn't exist.
Yeah. Or what was it? You've read Tribes. We've talked about that before, by Seth Godin. Do you remember the point in the book when he said, he was referencing someone else? He said, "You can't change stupid."
Yes.
And stupid by definition, or by that definition, was playing by yesterday's rules in today's game.
Yep.
And it doesn't work. You can't win when you play by yesterday's rules. Yet that's the system, right? That's the factory mentality that we get kind of stuck in that rut, on that hamster wheel. And we go round and round and round thinking something is going to be different, but you're actually just spinning in a wheel. So what if you jump off the wheel? Like what changes then? Or what's possible if you just jump off that wheel and try something that you want to try, or share an idea? And I don't know, I just love this idea of innovators, of people who are willing to keep singing out loud with the windows rolled down, pulled all the way up to the stoplight, because those are the people that, wait, I don't care. I don't care. I don't know you. I'd love to know you, but it doesn't, like, but your opinion, what you think of me, is none of my business. That's
yeah. and you know, although both Arminda and I have left more structured work environments to work for ourselves, we're not necessarily suggesting that everybody quit their day job, whatever that is. It's a shift of frame of mind as much as it is a shift of actual activity. And so thinking about things in a way, speaking opinions, having a creative voice, and allowing that to be expressed, I think that we're positing is what's useful and important, and frankly fulfilling for those who do use their voices.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And I'm glad you qualified that, because we can come across as, or be misunderstood sometimes in our messaging. Everybody should just like walk today, right? Like, just leave the man behind and go do your own thing, put a flag in the ground. No, you don't have to do that. There are ways to sing out loud in whatever space you're occupying. And that's really fun. In fact, that's really, really fun to do that. Elatia, you have so much experience and background in the world of HR and recruiting, and really being engaged with people who are in a corporate environment. What have you seen? Not necessarily your behavior, but have you seen or observed other people singing out loud regardless of what's going on around them, and making positive things happen because of it?
Yeah, there are so many examples, and I have worked with a wonderful woman. Her name is Kara Smith, and she has a great organization called the Ideal Work Lab. And she does all kinds of great stuff around how to be not just find a career that's fulfilling to you, but a way to be engaged at work and in the work environment, because the data will tell you, and Arminda and I have spoken about this before, but almost 70% of the US workforce is disengaged or extremely disengaged at work. And that is it's not only is it not fun, but also it's not productive. And so
kind of astounding in a really discouraging way.
Exactly. It's amazing in the not good sense, completely.
Yeah.
And so, I see so many people, from one of my former colleagues at Dow Jones, who is very much into music and personal style, and he would bring that to the office every day while he was doing his regular work and getting that done, and not being afraid to actually share that. Another friend of mine who used to work as a partner at a big design firm left to start his own company. He's a toy inventor, and then he sold that company back.
We still have toy inventors? How cool is that? I didn't even know. Can we bring him on the show?
Why, yes, we can. And then he sold his company back to the firm where he used to work. So he was able to go out and then go back.
Kind of go full circle there. Yeah.
And why not? And just why not? And he is also an interesting example, because he's not only in a more traditional sort of structure, but he's also created a parallel job for himself where he's teaching in a university. And so this notion of how we express ourselves and what we create in the world you can bring outside stuff into an office environment, vice versa. There's so much more to play with, so many more options than we are initially taught to believe or understand.
Yeah. And this makes me think of an example that's really close to home for me is prior to you and me and starting this dance party right here on Show Up Better podcast. One of my former lifetimes, I was in business with my brother, and we owned a franchise, and we worked with companies all over the place and helped train their leadership teams with what we would call soft skills. That's largely irrelevant, except to give you the framework for this. So my brother and I, because we were a franchise, right, there's a larger entity that essentially gets to decide the way that you behave inside of that franchise organization. And this will come as a really big shock, but we kind of struggled with that. So what to do and how to show up and that sort of thing. So my brother and I were constantly innovating. We were constantly just testing things and trying, well, what if we did it this way? And well, that doesn't really work for me. And what if we did? So we were just like constantly doing stuff. And today, all these years later, because of all of that, just showing up to our own dance party and singing the way we wanted to sing rather than what somebody else thought was the best way to do it. My brother is now working for corporate, innovating for every single franchise owner around the world. So that's awesome because it's just about, let's just keep pushing. Let's just keep testing. Let's keep singing rather than just thinking that the way it's always been done is the way it always will be done, because there's something magical about that. And it makes me think of a funny joke. This is funny because I never remember jokes, but here the story goes like this, that there's a newlywed couple and they're going to have one of their first big fancy at-home cooked meals together. And so the wife and the husband are working together, and the wife says she's bought this piece of meat, vegan, I don't know what it was, ham or something. And she is giving instruction to the husband, says, okay, well, you have to chop it off from here to here and just toss that and then put the rest in the pan and we'll dress it and prep. He said, why do we chop off this piece? And she said, I don't know. That's just the way my mom prepares it. So they call her mom and say, Mom, why do we chop off the ham at this point before we put it in the pan to prep it with the dressing? And the mom said, I don't know. That's the way my mom always did it. So they call the mom's mom, they call the grandma, and they say, Grandma, why is it that for the best prepared ham that we chop off this piece before we add the dressing? And the grandma just started laughing. And she said, because at the time I got married, I only had a pan that would fit a smaller piece of meat. She said, that's all I've ever had is a smaller pan. So now we're 3 generations deep of people doing something because that's the way it's always been done. So why? I would just always ask that. Why are we doing it this way? Is there a really valid reason? And if not, and even if there is, maybe can we switch that up a little bit? Maybe it's time for a bigger pan.
I love that. Maybe it is time for a bigger pan.
Pan party.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love it. On that note, what do you think?
I don't know. Like, we need microphones. That's what I think. So my daughter, when she was a lot younger, she made for the 2 of us, microphones so that we would always have the ability to get our dance party on in the car. And so she took toilet paper tubes and tin foil and some duct tape, and she had these fabulous microphones, and we just kept them in the glove box of the car. So every single time we got into the car, we had at the ready our microphones, and we would pull them out. And so when the songs came on, we would sing. She's in her back seat and I'm in the front seat, and we were singing. And that was just the rule. Anybody who got in the car was sing loud, sing proud, don't hold back. And so that's kind of the motto we take into the rest of our lives as well. And so let's just sing out today.
Sing out. Yeah. See where you can sing today. Go have some fun with it.
Yay! Sing. Let us know what your theme song is. That's what I want to know.
Yeah. That sounds good. Well, let's go out there and sing, Arminda.
All right. Sounds good. I'll see you next time.
Okay. Bye.